Ladies and gentlemen, today on Inside NuGenesis, we commence our journey to build the best blockchain network system. Our CEO Hussein Faraj and CTO Loai Mohsen will start at the beginning, the humble origins from M squared and G squared. You will find out that NuGenesis originally began as a project of Advantage Group, building investment platforms for government infrastructure projects, particularly in the Middle East. Now, back in 2013, M squared was a concept by which large-scale land subdivisions and developments could be funded in the form of future contracts on the developed vision. The sister investment unit was G squared, a gold-backed token that provided intrinsic value to ensure that there was no usury component to what was then the rising prominence of cryptocurrency. By late 2015, M squared and G squared were attempted as ERC20 tokens, but the limitations with the smart contract architecture required NuCoin to be created, and the mission to build the perfect blockchain network for the future and the foreseeable needs of a global economy began. Now, the NU in NuGenesis and NuCoin emphasizes the perfect blockchain system that is completely non-usury and designed to attract a large portion of the global community to ethically participate in global capital markets. We will ask, will the real NuCoin please stand up? Please stand up, please stand up. Now, if you search NuCoin, you will come across a few of them that have come and gone. One notable one, often labeled New Unit of Measurement, was an African one that died back in 2017, which many called a scam. So when you see things about NuCoin, make sure that it is about us, NuGenesis, which took its name in 2020, and our NuCoin meaning non-usury coin, maintaining the mission to make global financial trade an ethical frontier for the entire world.
Huss, let us take you back to the beginning of how NuGenesis started. As we understand it, NuGenesis originally began as a project of Advantage Group, building investment platforms for government infrastructure projects, particularly in the Middle East. Tell us about that.
Now, they say to every good movie, there's a good origin story. NuGenesis also has a very good origin story. What we're going to do in the next coming month, 2 months, 3 months, we're going to spend some time explaining to you guys the origin of NuGenesis, how it started, where we came from, and how all this project came about. Now, thank you very much for that question, and I know that today me and Loai will be answering several questions, and we'll try to answer all the questions that have come through to us.
Absolutely.
Now, the origin of NuGenesis. NuGenesis has had various names along the way. First started in 2013 with no name. It was an idea. A group of people had a great idea. We basically were traveling in the Middle East. We had meetings with various governments, various councils, and we started to look at what problems those societies, those cultures were facing. One of the biggest issues we found was money remittance. I mean, trying to get money from one place to another. Imagine you're sitting there on a holiday, you've run out of your money, you've had a great time, you've got these hotels, you've taken the kids out, you and your mates have gone out, you've used all your money, and now you need to get money into those accounts. Right? Credit cards don't work there, MasterCard, Visa card at that point didn't work, you just can't transfer money over. So we sat down as a group and we thought, you know what, if we could solve the problem of money remittance and we could find a solution for global money remittance, could you just imagine how much, first of all, would be helping people through the travel? Second, how much money we would make? I mean, everything comes down to a good business idea. 2013, we had a couple of really good meetings with various councils, like I said, in the Middle East, and they basically told us that they were having these major issues and that if anybody could resolve these problems, it would make life in those areas much easier. So we set to find a solution. Back 2013, if I remember right, I think back then there was only Bitcoin, XRP. I mean, I don't remember Ethereum being, I think Ethereum was 2015,
Correct.
if I'm right. I know there was a couple of other coins coming out, but blockchain technology back then was very young. Our first experience on the Bitcoin code was, wow, this is a little bit disappointing to become a payment system or a gateway system. So what happened, I mean, we went into R&D mode 2013, 2014, and I think it was about September 2014, we formed a company called Advantage Property Experts. Now you're going to say, what's property got to do with blockchain? Back then we didn't know what we were going to use. Now, we were experimenting in all ledgering systems. We were thinking, are we going to use blockchain? Are we going to create a new type of ledgering system? Or what protocols are we going to invent, or what protocols are we going to do to actually get this remittance problem solved? Absolutely. At that point, we decided to try to create what they know now as stablecoins. I mean, before the USDT ever came out, we actually worked on something called G squared, and we'll go into G squared a bit later on, and M squared, which is meter squared and gold squared. Now,
and sorry, not to forget the tremendous work that we prepared in the compliancy segments.
Correct.
Especially to support these type of cultures, the new cultures of these projects, basically worldwide, global-wide. And that was a massive amount of work that we have researched and prepared very intensive programs to be compatible with all jurisdictions.
Correct. Now,
you're probably thinking the foundation of our work.
100%. You're probably thinking, what has that got to do with these systems? We found that the biggest issue in the Middle East was the compliancing. I mean, how do you meet a system which means compliancing worldwide so you can actually remit and transfer funds worldwide? How do you send money to your loved one in another country, or how do you actually send aid or support to people who need aid and support when they need it, when there's no compliancing in those countries or compliancing in those financial institutions? So compliancing became a core of ours from 2013, end of 13, early 14.
Even prior to that.
Yeah.
Our research started, and we started discovering we had contacts in the United Nations and tried to going through a lot of policies, thousands of pages, to be on top of a pile of information before we were able to set everything at the actual foundation level.
Correct.
And have a network of,
So that's basically where it started as an ideology. 2014, we set up Advantage Property Experts with the idea of trying to do the first system of, when I say blockchain, it was the first time we looked at blockchain in full retrospect, and we're looking at creating a blockchain system pegged to 1 meter squared. Right? Hence why it was called the M squared system.
So let's go back to that, 2013, 2014. M squared was a concept by which large-scale subdivisions and developments could be funded in the form of futures contracts on the developed division. Now, tell us about M squared as it applied to, say, a concrete factory in Iraq or a major subdivision of indigenous land in Australia.
Okay, so what we're looking at is a way to do pure pegging. So where we can peg anything on a blockchain to any asset. So either being a cube of concrete to a meter of land, to any type of asset, it didn't matter. If you were laying roads and you needed to raise capital to lay roads, if you had a cement factory and you wanted to invest in the cement factory, we were looking at a way to utilize the blockchain technology and actually peg each coin or each digital coin to that actual asset. Now, we found massive problems in the blockchain world. We found that, at that stage, literally, we only had Bitcoin to look at. We looked at basis of other consensuses that came out. There was a lot of reading papers that came out. We went back to the 1992 original papers that came out in terms of cryptography and utilizing blockchains to, I think it's called timestamp a digital document. So we went over all the history. Actually, in fact, we even started looking at the MetaRealm MetaRealm documents that were produced in 1992. So before you heard about the metaverse, this metaverse to me is a little gimmicky. I'm not a fan of the metaverse. I am a fan of the MetaRealm. All right, our company has been very, very heavily involved in R&D for the MetaRealm. We'll go over that later on. We'll show the technology we've developed, but let's just go back to the core of the M squared and the systems that we've developed. So we found a massive flaw with the blockchain technology currently there. The proof of work system was the biggest flaw that we've ever seen. It made no sense that Bitcoin could ever derive to becoming a transactional system or a system to be utilized for remittance. It did make sense to use as a store of value if people chose to use as a store of value, but that's where it went.
Can you tell us a bit about the original G squared, the gold-backed token that provided intrinsic value to ensure that there was no usury component to what was then the rising prominence of cryptocurrency? Now, how is G squared different from the upcoming Troy coin that NuGenesis is introducing in the next coming few months? Okay,
G squared itself was developed to be a non-usury financial system backed by an actual asset. All right, backed by real gold per gram, pegged by per gram. What that means is it's not the USDT system where you've got a system which you don't actually know exactly how much US coin is sitting there backing a note, or you've got a system like the gem coins or NFTs. It's a system which utilizes 1 gram input of gold to create 1 coin. So each coin will always have a value of that 1 gram. Whenever any grams of gold are removed out of the system, that coin is burned. So it eliminates the coin. So there's always equilibrium in the tokenomics. So each coin represents one gram gold, and each gram is always representing 1 coin. So we were trying to derive at a system where people could trust that if they held that coin, they held a gram of gold value. And it was for them to be able to freely remit and transfer and basically support each other and have their own financial system going back and forward. Now, in terms of Tron, we are working on the same system in retrospect, but we've just gone one step further to automate the whole process. So right now with the NuGenesis technology, a lot has changed. Back in 2015, when we looked at this was a 2015, the G2. We had Ethereum to look at the time. I think Ethereum had just been released. It was the first Ethereum blockchain we looked at, and we thought to ourselves, this is insane. What we can't use Ethereum. We said there's just no way we could build an Ethereum blockchain. I mean, we actually developed several Ethereum chains in the early days.
But again, not to forget the number of iterations that we went through and all the
I was
R&D
just going
work.
to ask you about that. You've already touched on this, and it's an interesting subject.
Yes.
So you originally tried it first as an ERC20 token when Ethereum first started, but there were limitations in the smart contract architecture, and that's why you required NuCoin to be created in the mission to build the perfect blockchain for what you saw as the foreseeable needs of the global economy. Tell us about these existing blockchains that could work.
We tried the ERC20, the Ethereum chains. We did extensive work on Ethereum chains. I mean, we developed what Ethereum 2 is trying to develop, or even including the tri-consensus blockchain algorithms in early days. Right? We found that any system that requires you to use proof of work or proof of stake is flawed. All right, I know that the sale pitch in the industry is it's got to be proof of work, it's got to be proof of stake. Right? Like anything, it's like saying that you've got a car that travels 15 kilometers an hour, right? And that's what is perfect because that's what everyone agrees on. But now we've got highways in kilometer speeds of 100 kilometers an hour, right? It just made absolutely no sense. So when we started to derive at this conclusion, if we needed to have consensuses that did not require us to pay or reward people, it had to be a system consensus algorithm or system consensus that we utilised. And that's where, I mean, Luay's team and ourselves, we got into the idea of starting to use artificial intelligence and proof of authority.
Correct. But not to forget as well, when we were presenting our projects to the governments, when it came down to these elements, there was a degree of hesitation because the concepts of the consensus. Everything is great. Everything is built on technology. However, when we come to use the technology in industries which are related to governmental bodies, mega projects, there was a big concern in terms of the consensus on the reliance and how the consensus
51-49% of that.
Correct. That was one of the major kind of worries and scares, basically, and it pushed us back to do further research, further R&Ds, more iterations of the blockchain technology to come up with the proper solution that is safe.
Correct.
And agreeable, and everybody can kind of sit in the back seat and relax with this great technology, which is immutable, protecting the assets, and it's a ledger that can protect the integrity of the transactions, especially on the concept of G square, and even on the concept of the M square as well. Everything is built on integrity values and immutable.
Now, before you move there, there's something very important. It was our discussions with governments and our discussions with very large partners that we realised that there's something very flawed in the current technology other than the consensus, which is having a digital asset with no serialization, which means that asset can never be tied to one aspect of a coin or a currency. So what we created back then is Satoshi had a brilliant idea with the nonce. We came up with something different, which is called the USI palette. It's very similar in retrospect, except the formulations and the algorithms we used is a little bit more detailed than what they used back then, and it's because we need simplicity and we need speed. So we came with the system of the USI, and that's how we tied a USI. So we're able, as a CBDC, right now, I don't think anyone in the world can say, besides the NuGenesis network, that we're able to tie a digital coin to a serial number. A serialized aspect of a coin. Now, if you go onto our Explorer, you will be able to see the USIs being minted while the coins are actually being minted. So thank you for bringing that up. It's a very good point that you brought that up.
Thanks.
But yeah, we found that the Ethereum network was just not for us. All right, not for serious commercialization. We knew that at one point the Ethereum network would have to be upgraded, and we also found that trying to upgrade it would cause major problems. We looked at early day sharding. We found that sharding is not the solution. We looked at minimizing data. We said that, I mean, it just makes no sense. In a day that data is serious business and people want data, it makes no sense to remove the aspect of maintaining data and reducing what's kept on the chain. So we said that's not the solution. So the solution had to be a way to have much more data, have greater speeds, right, and being able to process payments that are able to go almost instantaneously without rewarding.
And taking the transaction speeds into consideration, absolutely. That was a very major element that drove our research into very successful aspects and gave us a great potential. And again, with the USI concept, I think you might probably consider the concept of CBDC maybe later on.
But we'll discuss these later.
Something we want to talk about and share with our audiences in probably later stages. But
Can we ask something really basic now?
Yes, please.
Really simple. Which is the real NuCoin? Because when we search NuCoin, we come across a few of them that have come and gone. One of them was called the New Unit of Measurement. One of them was an African one. One died back in 2017. Then there's another one that some people call a scam that was created in 2019. Which is the real one? How do you know which one is yours?
Now, guys, a lot of people came up with the name NuCoin. We are one of the pioneers in this space. I can tell you that we started in this space prior to anyone, even Ethereum wasn't there back then. One thing we decided to do was never to actually put this project out until the technology was at a point of being completed. So, there's many of NU that came out. We are part of the NuGenesis network. New in our system means non-usury. So we are the only non-usury coin, NuCoin, all right, which is non-usury. We have no relation to all these other coins. All right, the new unit of measure, the one that was based on gold and diamonds, the ones that came out, I mean, these are just random people who put projects together who use the name NuCoin as the acronym NU. Now, our project is non-usury, okay? It is the non-usury coin. If you go to the NuGenesis network, and the NuCoin is the native token of the NuGenesis network, that is our NuCoin. We have no relationship to all the other NU coins that you hear about out there.
Right. And how can we tell which is the real NuCoin website and not a copycat fake websites that we come across?
Guys, be very careful. NuGenesis is okay. We have NuGenesisOU.com. NuCoin.com.au. Actually, I will read out all our official pages while we're on there, since we brought up this question. All right, give me 1 sec. I'm going to open the pages. So you guys have an idea of all our exact pages that we currently utilize. Okay, by the way, the NuGenesis network has a vast amount of sites, websites, news channels. Although we don't advertise ourselves very heavily there, and the reason why we haven't is because we want to finish the technology complete before coming out to market. These are all our channels. Crypto Signals is ours. So if you're on the Facebook, if you see something on Crypto Signals from an official NuGenesis member, that's ours.
Crypto,
all right. Crypto Insider is one of ours. Yep. All right. So NuGenesis, of course, Facebook is ours. Only the official NuGenesis Facebook page. You can tell the official NuGenesis Facebook page. All right. So please, if you see some, native Indian or someone sitting down, and there's 20 people on that channel, and there's not 100,000 plus people, that's not us. If they're asking you for money, it's not us. If they're asking you to transfer Bitcoin or Ethereum, it's not us. We will never ask you for anything of the sort. We will never ask you for your liquidity of any type. We will never ask you to pay for anything on those channels. All right, we have our official website. We have NuCoin.com.au. We have NuGenesisOU.com. We have NFTcity.exchange. We have JustSocial.tech, which we've pulled down at the moment because we're upgrading. These are our official channels.
Actually, in addition to that, and that's a very good point, but unfortunately with these media platforms, we are doing our best to protect the brand, and everybody has the right to protect their own brand and all that, but we cannot stop these ugly events from occurring between time and time. However, in our new measures, and this is for our audience and customers, with our branding approach, we are going to utilize the power of our notification. So we've built a full notification platform which integrates into NuCoin, integrates into NFC City, etc. And there's going to be a correlation between what's meant to be going to the market and people receiving confirmation on the value and the aspects of what's going out to the market. So this is a way of presenting some level of authenticity.
Correct.
And some level of reaching our customers, because that cannot be, that's definitely solid, and it's going to keep our customers in a habit of verification. So we're giving the customers the power of verification, and they can verify through our other sites.
Now, I'll just finish up the list, just people that are listening.
Absolutely.
NuGenesis Germany, NuGenesis Korea, NuGenesis Pakistan, NuGenesis Japan, Compare Crypto, NFT City, Inside Crypto, Crypto Digest. We currently have over 1.2 million current users on our social network platforms. Okay, so we do have a vast amount of networks. Now, these are officially owned by the NuGenesis network. We also have the Just Social Accept.tech. We have Tech Chat. These have not been deployed. They will be deployed. So these are also ours, right? So we've got the Tech Chat, Crypto Forums, the Tech White Pages, V2R, which is Vision to Reality. We'll talk about that later. And I think you guys will love the idea of Vision to Reality. We have LedgerX.exchange. We have ReachMe.com, also haven't deployed yet. We will deploy later. And we have various other news channels. Now, we have CompareCrypto.news. Now, these have all been taken right now offline because we're upgrading all our facilities. We will be bringing them back online in the next 3 to 6 months, but we do own the domains and we own all the things that come with the domain. So we've got CompareCrypto.news, CryptoDigest.news, InsideCrypto.news, the CryptoInsider.news. We also own, I think, all the MetaRealm domains. Now, there are new domains that have come out. I'm talking about your traditional domains. So your MetaRealm.com, your MetaRealm.art, which is now one of our partners who's doing a project, to your MetaRealm.com.au, to your MetaRealm.online, to... Now, we actually... So the MetaRealm, I know you guys are looking at this as a new concept, as the metaverse, but the metaverse has been, or the idea of the MetaRealm is very different to the metaverse. The MetaRealm is utilizing real-life applications, digitalizing them to make life easier for individuals. So we're not talking about gaming, we're talking about real-life scenarios where people could use it to make their lives much easier. We will go with that.
Simply say digitization of real life into
so I like to look at that as a parallel universe that we create, a parallel digital universe, and we've been working very heavily on creating the technology to be able to produce the MetaRealm. We will be sharing a lot more about the MetaRealm. We do prefer to finish the basis of the first technology, which we're only months away, and we will share it with the user. We'll share it with our users.
Correct.
Now, if there's any other questions, we're happy to answer any more questions. But if that's the case, if there is no more today. We
any highlight on our presence, like our offices around the global offices and all that?
Look, I think what
maybe you want to talk about it later on, but
because we're just talking about the origin story. Yeah. The NuGenesis network is very fast, right? It's not. We're an open book. We have offices globally. We've got over 8 offices now around the world. We're opening up the NuGenesis Tower down in Lebanon at the moment as we speak. It's a 5-level complete building, and obviously we call it the NU Tower. We're hoping that it looks very similar to the Iron Man Tower when it's done. Mm-hmm. So it's an advanced robotics. It's an advanced robotics division that we have. We're actually hiring at the moment. We've hired, obviously, in the last 5 to 6 years, probably some of the best experts in robotics, in engineering. I mean, one of the gentlemen that we're trying to onboard right now has created I think it's a pancreas. It's the pancreas. An artificial pancreas. So it's artificial liver. My apologies. Right. So we do have very large teams.
We're not doctors, so it's easy to.
we are hiring the best people because what we're trying to build is not for today. Right. Everything we have and everything we've developed, nothing is for today. One thing we'll show you guys later on is a way for people who are deaf to be able to speak in the MetaRealm. I mean, not only that, we can use the same application to help them speak in real life. So it's a glove system which can actually take whatever they're citing and turn it into speech. Now, we're also deriving other points where the actual sign language can be reverted to speech and speech to sign language. So we're actually working on ample solutions. But I think for today, I think that's just enough to keep it nice and simple. We don't want to lose you guys. So we will have, every week, we'll do as many of these programs as possible. Stay tuned. They will stay the same every single week in terms of updates. And what we plan on doing is expanding into the whole origin story of NuGenesis and what is going to happen, what is happening, what's about to happen, and what the future holds for the NuGenesis network.
And tomorrow is the Ask Me Anything.
Yes, tomorrow we're back to Ask Me Anything, guys. So after watching this, if you've got a question, please hit us up with a question. Right? We don't mind what it is. Ask any question. We're going to keep doing these until you guys don't want them anymore. So we want everyone to be satisfied with what's going on. We want to be able to explain what's happening. We want to be able to share what's happening.
So basically our approach, well, thank you very much, sorry to interrupt here. I mean, our approach is to always engage our customers.
Correct.
Okay?
Correct.
So customers for us means a lot, basically. So as they expand our network, we also want to engage them to learn with us. And we have also, I think, upcoming technical...
Now, on that, we're going to share a lot of stories with you guys. Some of the Genesis stories are really funny. I remember once we were so exhausted. This is back in 2014. We had several meetings. We were exhausted. We couldn't find a hotel. We had booked a hotel. We got there. It was double booked. We couldn't find another accommodation to stay. I remember one night we were sleeping on the street in an area. We fell asleep on the sidewalk. I remember that very well. So this journey hasn't been the easiest journey all the way through. We've had a lot of ups and downs, but it's been a very promising and it's been a very rewarding journey. But we will share the origin story. We'll tell you guys exactly how we got to where we got to. We are not the new guys. That's what I want you guys to understand. We did something very different. We decided to go find out how things work. One thing is to create a blockchain, but if you're a techie and you're building a blockchain and you only know tech, that blockchain is useless, right? You need to know the market. Our origin story, you will see we had substantial meetings in every field. From medicine, we were involved in a cure for Alzheimer's. So one of the projects we worked with was, someone brought over a cure for Alzheimer's. We went to various countries and seen cures for various medication. Right now, why was this all important in this journey? Why was the land in the acquisition of the King's Cross land? We were the ones that were also working aside when the King's Cross, development site was amalgamating across for Omnia. So there's many things we've done in the journey, and it wasn't because it's external to this. We needed to understand how real life application works, or how things in real life work, before we started commencement of the blockchain, so the blockchain actually works. So you find that 2013, although we didn't start building a chain, it all mattered a lot to it all brought us to where we got to today.
Well, it's really realistically how this approach has opened up massive doors of opportunities and massive doors of research.
Yeah.
And the results that we have, and getting involved with a lot of people around the world in terms of different projects beyond the convention.
I agree. We're looking forward to sharing more stories with you guys. It's the end of today, and trust me, stay tuned for the next coming stories of these. There's some great stories.
Again, thank you very much from our wonderful CEO, Hussein Faraj, and myself, the CTO of the NuGenesis platform, Loai Mohsen. And we wish to see you again. Thank you very much.